Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, including Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, Ruby, and Rick and Morty. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Sam Quattro.
Hello.
Mel Moyer.
Hello.
And Britt Falcon.
Hello.
This is our second What We've Been Watching podcast, kind of our shorter, semi-weekly roundtable discussion on some animated shows or movies. They could be smaller, they could just be a large release that we haven't discussed on the podcast yet, but the connecting thread is that this isn't something we're regularly discussing, and it's not something that is slated to be discussed anytime soon. It's basically just something that only one of us, rather than a few of us in the group, have been watching. And these are going to be kind of spoiler-free discussions here. Assuming that we watch something that we like, you can treat them as recommendations. Although, I'll be going last, but for my case, it's not necessarily...
Unless it sucks, we didn't recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily something I liked that I watched, so we'll get there at the end. But yeah, so... this is a shorter podcast, and just take our advice or don't. I don't know. Hopefully, this will lead to greater exposure for some maybe lesser known things. So yeah, we're going to start with Sam today.
Oh, I don't like being first.
Well, you're going to go first because I'm interested to see what you're talking about.
Okay, because nobody knows what it is. Because I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Anyway. The thing that I have for this week, it's an animated film, sort of, called, It's Such a Beautiful Day, by this guy named Don Hertzfeldt. Basically, it's like a collection of 3 short films that he did, like short animated films that he did, and they're all they're all collected together into this big old hour-long feature. Anyway, so this movie is about this guy named Bill, and Bill is having problems with his memory, and it doesn't really have too much of a plot. I mean, it has a plot, but it's like kind of weird, and like it's like absurd and abstract and surreal. It's very interesting, and it's drawn in like all stick figures too. It's pretty cool. Anyway.
I have not heard of this. I have the Wikipedia page up, though. This seems interesting.
It's very interesting. It made me cry.
Well, what type of things does it cover?
It covers life and death.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really covers life and death, and it made me cry because, like, thinking about death. And, I don't know, it covers memory, of course, family, sort of, relationships with other people, how we perceive things, stuff like that. I don't know, it's told in, like, it doesn't have dialogue. It's, like, all narration. And, the way that Don Hertzfeldt narrates it, it's very, like, akin to sort of, like, my style of artwork, actually. Like, it's very rambling and very, like, rambling and, I don't want to say straightforward, but, like, it's a lot of rambles, and it goes off into, like, different tangents, and eventually comes back to, like, the plot line. And it's very strange, but it's, like, really cool.
The film is divided into 3 chapters and follows the story of a stick figure man named Bill who struggles with his failing memory and absurdist visions, ultimately coming to terms with his own demise.
Yes.
That's quite a broad plot.
Well, it's... I don't know.
I think I can tell what type of movie it is, you know.
It's an experience. It's a weird animated indie movie.
This totally seems like your type of movie.
Of course it is. When are we going to make Sam's Indie Corner?
Sam's Indie Corner, that's basically what this is. That can be your segment on each of these podcasts.
Whatever.
What you've been watching. Do you think this film's, like, very good? Like, good? Like, how much would you recommend it?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was really good, yeah. I mean, it made me cry, so of course it's good. And I thought it was pretty good, yeah. I don't think it's a film for everybody, definitely. I mean, it's definitely not for children, of course. I don't know. I guess you have to have, like, a certain sense of humor, and you have to have a certain, maybe, outlook on the world to get enjoyment out of this film.
Yeah, I can see that. Cool. I don't know. Anything else?
You can watch it on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix?
That's
Okay.
it's been in my watch list for like years, and I haven't watched it. And then last night I was like, "Wow, I need something for this podcast tomorrow." I don't feel like talking about this one thing I was going to talk about, so
Nice.
because I haven't watched all the episodes of that yet. So I talked about this,
Cool.
and it was really good.
Seems to have a lot of critical praise on its Wikipedia
It does,
page.
yeah. We're on the same Wikipedia page right now.
Cool. Okay, I don't know. I might check this one out soon. Yeah, looks pretty good. Thank you, Sam.
No problem.
Now contrasting with Sam's choice, Mel, what have you been watching?
I've been watching the lesser, I think, watched stepchild of Family Guy, American Dad, which in a lot of ways I think is better than Family Guy. If you're someone who enjoys Family Guy but maybe kind of bristles a little bit at a lot of the humor in that and just sort of the crudeness, American Dad's kind of like Bob's Burgers, kind of less offensive. Still kind of offensive, but less offensive. They use more in-plot humor than cutaway scenes and pop culture references. Patrick Stewart's in it. And it's, it's great. It's about this sort of stereotypical right-wing American family who have an alien that they keep in the house. Roger's essentially the breakout character.
Typical
of this.
American family with an alien.
Yeah, he's essentially the Stewie of this.
I have an alien in my basement. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's all on Netflix, and I honestly think a lot of times it's better than Family Guy.
Now, for a lot of people, that doesn't mean anything.
But for
I know,
you,
but the thing
you
is
really
like Seth
Family Guy,
MacFarlane's type of humor is, for the most part, I mean, Family Guy is a fairly like well-watched sort of animated show in that vein of like kind of raunchy animated shows. It's kind of the one I think everyone mainstreams towards, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's good, but I do think American Dad is very good and very funny because, again, it's less cutaway scenes, it's less toilet humor, it's less offensive, it's more plot humor, dialogue humor, Roger humor. There's a really funny Phantom of the Opera episode.
I just remember they did an episode with My Morning Jacket. That's all I remember.
The show has had 12 seasons. Since when?
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's going strong.
Wow.
9 of those seasons are on Netflix.
Do you think that it is... where do you think it stands now as opposed to like its peak?
I think it's better than it was when it started. I will say, I'm going to say the peak was probably around like season 6. I still think it's very good, and I mean, I've been way more into that than Family Guy lately, which is saying a lot because I always watch Family Guy. But it's just it's odd because it's like very different from Family Guy and yet the same thing. Like it's you don't watch Family Guy that much, so it's difficult to like stress that to you, Dylan.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say the best seasons were 5 and 6. They have the best sort of holiday episodes and the best kind of themed episodes, and they do themed episodes like really well. And that's something they kind of are known for more than Family Guy. American Dad, they did like a Poltergeist episode. They did a Phantom of the Opera episode. They have a really good Halloween episode in season 5. So.
How do you watch the show? Have you been watching week to week for like since it started, or you like been catching up on Netflix or?
A little bit of both. I mean, obviously, right now I've just been watching it on Netflix because it's not on, but I like to watch it week to week. So.
Cool. Yeah, and you think this might be like a good show for someone who's looking for a comedy to just watch on Netflix and?
Yeah, and it's like a kind of very smooth comedy that's not too raunchy.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. There have been 12 seasons of the show.
Yeah, people don't know that this show is still on.
Yeah, I didn't.
Is the thing.
Interesting. Okay. Anything else? Or are we good?
I think I'm good on that.
Well, D. Bradley Baker, I see as in.
Yeah, he's on there.
Is he a human?
Is he the fish?
I want to say he might. I think he's the fish.
I assume he talks in English.
No, I think he
He's a
voices the
German fish.
Klaus, the fish.
German
yeah.
Olympic.
They also have a
Fish,
talking
yeah.
fish in this family. In addition to the alien, this prototypical American family also has a talking fish.
Well, we do love D. Bradley Baker, so that's as good a reason. I don't know. I don't think I recognize anyone else in the cast.
Besides
Patrick
Seth
Stewart.
MacFarlane. Yes, so Patrick Stewart plays a funny character that's designed to look exactly like Patrick Stewart, but isn't Patrick Stewart. He plays the head of the CIA.
That seems appropriate.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Mel. Britt, what have you been watching?
I've been mainly watching a bunch of first episodes of different animes to decide what I wanted to watch. And so far I have not found one, so that's my main task for the week. But other than that, I've been watching Dragons, and I started watching Bob's Burgers, which is a lot
on my recommendation.
Upon your recommendation, basically I just watch what Mel tells me to. So, and it's been really funny. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy the futures, season 3 and season 4, probably more than 1 or 2. One, I didn't really think a lot of the humor was that funny. I really don't enjoy bathroom humor. I'm not into fart jokes. I'm not a teenage boy. Sorry.
Okay, but how about since we did Bob's Burgers last week? How about I don't know. Do you have anything? Do you on the Google Doc? You have Attack on Titan and Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell is kind of a huge undertaking, and I've been watching the movies. Yeah. And I watched the Arise Ghost in the movie, which I think is basically a sequel, I think. And it turns out I had only watched the third one of a series of 3 movies. So I don't really want to talk about it just yet. I want to watch 1 and 2 first. And I was planning on talking about that today, but then I realized late last night that I didn't
accidentally
realize
watched
I didn't realize Ghost in the Shell was 1,000 movies and 1,000 television shows.
It really is.
I thought it was only the first one. You haven't seen the first one, though?
No. Okay. No, there's sequels to it and stuff. Yeah. There's Ghost in the Shell, and then Ghost in the Shell has 3 movies, and then there's Arise, Ghost in the Shells, Ghost Whispers, and then there's Ghost Pain, and then Arise 3, which is Ghost in the Shell.
Okay, I have not seen Ghost in the Shell, the first movie, which is going to be blasphemous to a lot of people, but I don't know. I'm not as into
It's also a long-running TV show.
Yeah, I think the first movie is the one that everyone talks about, and it's also, I think, being adapted into a live-action American release, which people are not happy about.
It's gonna have Scarlett Johansson in it. She's not Asian, and the whole plot of the film really doesn't make sense outside of Japanese
I think we'll have to get into the first Ghost in the Shell movie if we're gonna discuss.
I think we definitely need to talk about that one because I love the first Ghost in the Shell movie.
How about you talk about Attack on Titan for a little bit then?
Attack on Titan is a futuristic society that has old world technology, and they're living behind walls, and there are these giant titans that attack them and eat them.
They're scary.
They're scary. The animation's really good. The music's really good. The characters are all really angsty and awesome and complex, and they go on adventures. And that is it in a nutshell without giving anything away. And giving away the spoilers for the show kind of ruins it. So
Attack on Titan is I don't know if it is, but it is very popular at some point.
It is very popular. Here, we can read the description for it.
So is the anime still ongoing?
It is, but they finished the season. The manga goes beyond it, I'm pretty sure, and it's still going, so I think they just have to wait for the manga to have enough for them to make another season.
Okay.
But here's the official definition of it. With his hometown in ruins, young Eren Yeager becomes determined to fight back against the giant titans that threaten to destroy the human race. Basically, everybody outside of this walled city is dead because they've been eaten by the titans. And they're in the military, or what their version of the military is. And they try and take down the titans, and they have these cool suits that they use to grapple along the buildings and grapple along trees. And the only place that you can kill a titan is on the back of the nape of the neck, and you have to slice them through there, and then they die. So it's a very difficult thing to do. They don't have planes. They don't have a whole lot of technology. It's kind of a...
It's like Nausicaa.
Yeah, well, it's like Nausicaa. There you go.
Darker. I don't think it's we'll cover Nausicaa.
It's very, 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 very
I don't
dark,
comparing
things to
Nausicaa. So Jeff and Allie also watch this show, and they're big fans, right?
Yes, Allie is obsessed.
It's very popular. I think the refrain I heard about it was that it's very good in the beginning, and then it maybe drops off towards the end.
Yeah, because the plot sort of, you have the exposition, and then you have everything after the exposition. The exposition's very good, but everything after that is kind of dull because you have a lot of character development and plot development. And what happens after the end of the show in the manga is like really interesting, but it's not just like action.
I assume it's like The Walking Dead, where they just keep killing everyone off.
You don't know anything about The Walking Dead.
No.
All I know about The Walking Dead is that they just kill
They
everyone.
do kill people.
Don't
off,
even
but
talk
a
to
lot
me
of
about
people
that.
survived. Is that like people die?
It's like not the main
hurts.
characters, okay. So it's like Game of
Not the
Thrones.
main characters. Well, no
spoilers.
We
Okay.
won't talk. It's
Anyway.
spoilers, but less people die and the deaths are less stupid. How's that?
Good. And then The Walking Dead.
Than The Walking Dead.
Sigh. We won't...
I'll talk to you about that later.
Okay. I don't particularly want to watch the show, but maybe I will at some point, and then we could podcast on it. Because
There aren't enough cute girls.
I mean, it's generally
slice of life enough.
Generally, these type of action animes don't appeal that much to me. I was about to start it at one point, but I don't know. We'll see.
I love that.
Later on, there is the gay, so you have that to look
Okay,
forward to.
that would be something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll close things out. So it is the beginning of July, and that means new animes. So if you're unfamiliar with how Japan works, they go in cycles of the seasons for new series. I don't know if this applies to all their series, but at the very least for animes it does. So they have winter, spring, summer, fall, and each time there's new series that premiere, and the summer season begins at the beginning of July. So which means there's like 50 or something new animes starting, and most of them are going to be terrible, but some of them might be okay. So what I did was I watched 3 of the new ones, kind of randomly, and I'll tell you what I thought about them. I might do... So I think this is a good thing for me to do during these. I'll just watch the first episodes of some recent animes and then talk about them. So if you haven't gathered by now, my anime preferences are action bad, doing nothing good. And I'm much less likely to like a default action anime. Like, I feel like people in general are less likely to like slice of life anime than they are an action anime, but I'm the opposite. So it takes a pretty good action anime to get me into it. So I started with Classroom Crisis, and I don't know much about this. It looked like it had good animation, so I clicked on it, and then it was pretty bad. So
What's it about?
Let's see what I have written here. So it's not clear. So this first episodes of animes are always interesting because they're like pilots. And whenever you see a plot description for an anime, it's basically what happens in the first episode, which is kind of cool. And another thing I want to say is that these aren't really pilots for animes because they're first episodes of what will be 12 episodes, or if they go longer, 25. But my general thought process with pilots of television shows is that don't expect them to be good, because the first episode of a TV show is almost never good. But what you should be looking for is potential. If there's absolutely nothing you like in it, then you don't need to watch it again. But don't expect a first episode to be like genuinely good TV, because it's just not going to be. Just look for something that you might see developing into something you'll like later, and then stick with the show maybe. But that applies more to the American side, but I think animes as well. But Classroom Crisis, I would say, is about, from what I gathered, there's a corporation running a tech school on Mars.
Wow.
And like, it seems like this corporation runs like the entire city on Mars. I don't know. It wasn't even clear that it was on Mars for a while. There's like a hostage situation, and then they go rescue them with like the main character. I don't know who the main character is, honestly, but this one girl goes to rescue the hostage, and turns out the hostage was a high-ranking official within the corporation, and he's enrolling in the classroom. It's really not clear. So I was not impressed with how they presented the plot or the characters, but it had interesting animation, and it was kind of exactly the type of action anime that I hate. Bad characterization, bad storytelling, too focused on suspense and action developments to care about its characters. I would not recommend this one. I'm not going to continue with it.
Sounds like I should watch it.
You could try it. I don't know. Maybe you'd like it more than me. The second one I watched was Wakaba Girl, which was only 8 minutes long. I did not know that this is a thing, apparently, that the animes have mini episodes, which are 8 minutes. You think I would know that? But
what's it about?
Nothing. It's about cute girls and nothing happening.
Oh, okay.
And so that's my type of show, except actually nothing happened, and the characters weren't well developed in 8 minutes, and I didn't really care about what happened. So there you go. I would not recommend this one either. I don't even remember what happened, honestly. But the third one I watched was the best of the three. It is called Gate, and then a lot of Japanese words. But you can just look for Gate anime, I guess.
What's it about?
So this one had a clearer premise. It was focused. Basically, there's this otaku, which is Japanese nerd if you're unfamiliar. But it's like that's a dumb description.
It's you.
It's not me. I'm actually not. But it's someone who's obsessed with the type of subculture the otaku subculture in Japan, anime, manga, stuff like that. It's like not actually me or Allie. We would like to call Allie this because it's funny, but she's actually not really an otaku. I don't know if she'd be offended or happy.
Well, she's not going to listen to this.
No,
so
she
who
won't.
cares?
So basically, he's like on his way to like a convention for new manga. I mean, there's a Japanese word I could use instead, but and then there's like maybe a portal opens up or something, and fantasy soldiers start attacking real Japan or Tokyo or whatever it is, and it seems like, and he kind of, I guess through his experience reading action mangas, he kind of directs the police and wards off the attack, which sounds dumb, and it was, but it was not terribly done. And then the government discovers there's this gate, hence the title, leading to the fantasy world, and he's given like a medal for being a hero and put in the army, and then they enter the gates into the fantasy world, and we start seeing this world, I guess, and
So it's Danny Phantom.
Essentially.
with like the war version of Danny Phantom. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know if the story is going to take place in real Japan or in this fantasy world. I don't know what's going on, but it was well done. It was paced very like slowly, which is good. Not too much happened. The action was decent, and I think the plot is pretty intriguing. So I might actually stick with this one. So would recommend Gates, Jinate Kanochi Nite Kanku Takarari.
Wow,
There
you're
you
so
go.
smart.
Allie's gonna hate you for butchering.
Well, she's not going to listen.
I want to make Allie listen to it just to hear me say that. It's hard to identify anime sometimes because they're just long Japanese title.
Yes.
Anyway, there's my 3 anime pilots for the week. Maybe in 2 weeks when we come back with this segment again,
You'll have an actual show.
Review some. No, but I think I just want to keep doing pilots because that'll be interesting. Sigh.
I slave all day over a hot computer for you, and you just give me anime pilots.
I mean, I watched 3 shows. Come on. That's a lot.
One of them was 8 minutes long.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that, but it was. Until I finished, and I was like, oh, there's nothing else. Okay. I think that about wraps it up. So like I said, we're not going to have this segment next week, because next week it is Steven Bomb 3. And we're very excited for that, and Mel's going to catch up by then. And
yeah.
yeah, and we're going to be podcasting every day next week about Steven Universe. And also, Gravity Falls comes back next Monday with a 30-minute long, no commercials return.
Wow.
Very excited. And that's going
What
to be an
time
exciting
of day
Monday.
is that?
That is at 8:30, so I want to try to finish the Steven Universe before 8:30.
Perfect. It'll be very good.
The Eastern, of course. So yeah,
The East.
the Eastern, Eastern Daylight Time. So thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
I've been Dylan Hysen, Sam Quattro, Mel Moyer, Britney Falcon, and you can find more about this podcast at overlyanimated.com. I'm not going to go through everyone's social media stuff. You can find, because there's too many of us, you can find it all on our website on the bios page, and you can support our Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. We really need your guys' support to continue this podcast. Thanks to our current patrons. How are we going to do this? Are you going to do their nicknames? Sam,
Yes.
is this the general?
Why are you asking me?
If
You're the
names
one
are
who
your
said
thing.
It was funny because I was the one who scripted that into the video too. But I don't want to say them, so.
You did script that. didn't
So
I did.
our
I
patrons,
screwed everyone over.
you? Wait, no, I'm supposed to say their names though, aren't I?
Dylan. Okay.
Shayna and
Shayna
Mitch.
and Mitch. And
God.
Shayna is
Hannah.
Hey,
okay. We spent too long on this, and Mitch is.
We said Fever Mitch, but I still don't like
We're
it.
gonna work on that. Okay.
Fever Mitch. Oh, that's good.
I like Hedwig and the Angry Mitch.
That's all.
Ooh, that's also
I
good.
like that too. Can we?
Yeah,
do
let's
that
just
one?
make it that.
They
Let's
sound like a
Crowdsource
band
this.
name.
What do other people want?
Okay, so if you want cool nicknames like this, contribute to our Patreon. Yay. Okay. That about does it for this week. Thanks, guys. Oh, also, we're very excited about the just announced today. This can tell you when we're recording this. Brian Knitzko's new Thread World graphic novel.
Oh, who's this? A we?
Me, I guess. You guys. I'm not
The
even sure
royal
if you're
we.
aware it exists.
Yeah, the royal we, aka Dylan.
That's a band.
But yeah, Thread
Let's
World. Is it Thread Worlds or Thread World?
We don't know. You told us.
Well, I mean, he announced it. I need to. It's Thread Worlds plural. Yeah. Anyway, that looks very good. It's not out for 2 years, and also it's not animation. So there
Wow.
you go. That's where you can't even cover it.
Don't
But,
So it's
Bash
news,
on-
but kind of news.
I mean,
Don't
it's
bash on graphic novels.
News?
we should be able to cover graphic novels.
Like
I don't know if that
bees?
We
counts.
should. I would do that.
Yeah,
do you want to
that'd be
do that?
cool. We could. Anyway, I mean that's news because we basically don't expect an animated project from Brian anytime soon. Basically,
Good.
Interested to see what Mike does now, though. We know that there's the rest of the producers are working on a show for DreamWorks, which has not been announced yet.
How did you know that?
This was a post a while ago. Lauren McMullen, Joaquin, and others are working on a show for DreamWorks, which Studio Mir will be animating. So it's basically Korra 3.0 or whatever, 2.0. I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, I'm.
Korra and Asami's Adventures in the Spirit World.
No, it's not.
Gal
Korra.
Pals.
Anyway, that's
That's the name of it. The show's name is Gal Pals.
Gal Pals.
Yeah.
What it's called. I can.
We are anticipating this week. Mike and Brian will be at this. We're basically turning back into our old Korra podcast now, but Mike and Brian are going to be at Comic-Con for the Dark Horse panel, and everyone's hoping, cross fingers, for a Korra comics announcement.
Yay!
That would be the big
I would
thing.
read that more than the other ones.
One would assume if there was a post-Korra comics, it would be Korra and Asami in the spirit world, right? That's what everyone wants.
How come we never found out who Zuko's wife is?
Yeah.
Wife? I mean, because it's Suki, obviously. That's why.
No.
So that's all.
No.
Thanks, guys.
This keeps
for,
me up at night.
thanks, guys, for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Adios.